Innovating Education Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.
Knowing how to read and write can pave the way to success, but academic talent can't always help us overcome problems. We explore how 3 projects are empowering local communities by teaching life skills that will help them deal with life's physical and emotional challenges. Liberia has been devastated by the recent Ebola outbreak. Now we visit one project that is teaching some methods to help prevent the spread of this deadly epidemic.
More than 3,000 people have died of the Ebola virus in Liberia. Children are the first casualties in this epidemic. Thousands are not only orphans now because of the disease, but they also don't have access to education anymore. A school in the eastern part of the capital, Monrovia, used to have more than 10,000 students from kindergarten to high school. Alfonso is an economics teacher. He hasn't taught a class or been paid for nearly 6 months. He's worried about his students left to wander outside.
It is more dangerous when the students are out. One is going to have education, the issue of pregnancy, the issue of students being criminal, the male students, it will happen.
The headmistress addresses a meeting to prepare for an eventual reopening. She wants to implement security measures.
We have the washing station at the entrance of each school, and then we'll also continue to tell the children to not touch themselves, do not hug, do not eat from one another.
These are some of the 5,000 teachers that Unicef has trained in their new program. The goal is to get across prevention measures for Ebola to the parents. The sooner the epidemic is stopped, the sooner school can start again.
We hope that they will open in January, February, March, but it depends on the epidemic. What we've seen so far in the epidemic is that it takes new turns all the time, and we try to adapt to that all the time. So when the schools actually can be open, we don't know.
Alfonso and the rest of the staff go door to door, making sure parents understand their efforts in making education available again.
We can see ourselves on the safe side. Like you see right now, the cases are reducing on a daily basis once we can follow the rules.
Shazefta is 18 years old and her mother is aware of preventative measures.
We cannot have a sickness like the deadly disease like Ebola in the country and you send your children to school. Because normally the government schools are always packed.
Shazefta should be in 10th grade by now. However, due to the epidemic, she's falling behind. Since the outbreak, her mum won't let her see her friends or leave the house alone.
When I get older, I want to be a medical doctor. Because I don't want to be in the streets, to be around. I prefer to work with my mother than school can open.
If schools don't reopen soon, Unicef is worried that pupils like Shazefta might never return to their classrooms.
What should you do if you are being bullied? A daunting question for victims of harassment who are often afraid to speak out. In Canada, one person who has experienced bullying is reaching out to schools to help combat the problem.
Tirelessly, Louis-Philippe Thibault is going all over Canada to deliver his message.
Bullying is the one thing I can't laugh about. It is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, ever. If I had to pick today between going through the bullying I went through or the cancer that I went through, I'd pick cancer. Cowardly.
In Canada, at least 1 in 3 adolescent students have reported being bullied recently. Phil was severely bullied by 3 people during 5 years at secondary school.
You look like an idiot who just stole.
L'intimidation, c'est une des formes. Bullying is a form of violence we used to call social. It can be on a physical level and psychological level. And now with the internet and social media, there's cyberbullying.
He decided to talk about his terrible ordeal after surviving testicular cancer a few years later.
I read Lance Armstrong's book, The Cyclist Who Had Testicular Cancer, and I was affected by the sentence, giving back is the survivor's duty.
From then, Phil decided to do his bit in the struggle against bullying.
I realized someone had to do something different other than just giving out the statistics.
Today is Phil's 100th conference in front of students. After his talk, the pupils and teachers seem to be very receptive to his message.
Avant que ça commence, les écoles créent leur plan. Puis après ça, ils font en sorte que si toi, mettons,
My goal is to remind people that I went through hardships with a positive attitude, that I overcame all this. That's the goal. And everyone in the world needs to hear this kind of message. He was bullied, and he explains to us how to react. Even if we're not personally bullied, we can help others who are. For people who are suffering from bullying, it helps them to know that it happens to other people as well, that maybe their perception of the world is not what's actually going on. I think it's very useful.
When we heard testimonies like Mr. Thibault's one, it takes us down from our ivory tower and says, yes, it happens. It happened in the past, it happens today, and it will happen tomorrow.
His mission accomplished, Phil goes back home. His work is not quite finished because he receives a lot of testimonies and positive messages from people he helps in their struggle against bullying.
I've received some fantastic messages. That's why it's important to continue what I do. And I would really like more opportunities to talk to adolescents in school.
Thank you. Wow, awesome. Thank you.
Providing access to education is one of the first steps towards breaking the cycle of poverty. One organization is taking a holistic approach by equipping families with the skills they need to achieve this.
7 hours from Nairobi in Kenya, in the remote Masai Mara, Free the Children has adopted a holistic approach. The Adopt a Village program identified that in order to lift marginalised indigenous communities out of poverty, education is needed, but not only education.
We started with education, and we saw we really wanted to target girls in school and education for boys and girls and youth. And then we realized with that one pillar, with that one aspect, we weren't able to capture the entire community, and we weren't able to see development happen as it should. So this is how the other pillars came to be.
In order to offer children free education, the Adopt a Village project has successfully implemented what it identified as the 5 core pillars of lasting and sustainable education, combining a school project with health programs, clean water, agriculture projects and food security measures that not only do the students of the school benefit in the long term, but with them the whole community.
When the Free the Children joined us, they started in a primary to build classes, very smart classes, where you can even stay from morning to evening without any affection of the climate.
All schools are built near a clean source of water, giving girls the time to attend classes and ensuring students and families to stay healthy by avoiding waterborne illnesses.
The waterborne diseases, they are no longer there because we have the borehole right in the school compound. We also they have also erected the tanks where the school children normally get water, and some of the community members who are living around.
I was walking 5 miles to fetch water, and I did it 5 times a day. Now I'm happy because we have water in our area and can even have it in my house if I could afford it.
The healthcare programs educate both students and the community on health practices, and they also include a mobile clinic that visits the village on a monthly basis.
Okay.
The community is educated now, our children and us women as well.
Alternative income programs such as honey production, animal husbandry or artisans projects targeted towards women ensure income for their families and food security.
What are your thoughts on life skills-based education, and what life skills do you think should be taught? Leave us your comments on our social media pages. We look forward to reading them. See you again next week. Goodbye.
Learning World in association with WISE, an initiative of Qatar Foundation.